welcome to Beyond Bits. It's a podcast where we go beyond the books and classrooms to explore journeys, challenges, and successes of businesses who are making a mark in the world. Whether it's tech, entrepreneurship, or anything in between, we dive into the stories that shape their careers and lives. We're your hosts, Siddharth Ram and Amitav Sachin, and today we have a very special guest with us, Akhil Singhal, BITS Goa 2010. Currently the Chief AI Product Officer at Emplay. Akhil's journey spans from analytics to full stack development SaaS Consulting, and now leading the charge in Gen AI. He's also an IIM Bangalore grad and co-founded Pangea Tech. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thanks for that. Thanks, Anita. Nice to meet you.
Um, so we'll start with our first questions now. So this is just like a sort of casual opening conversation. So before we dive deep into your professional journey and all the incredible work you've done, we'd love to hear about a day in the life of a chief AI product officer. So what does your typical day look like these days?
So, moving a typical week, because the single day doesn't repeat, but the week does repeat, right?
Yeah.
It's a small company where I am in play. So, it's just not that I look after the product journey. I also look after sales ops, marketing, recruitment, a little bit of ops in the company as well, right? So, I help the performer with not many more things than just the product, right? So, but typical, if I have to describe a typical day, it would basically be like 30% of my time goes into looking after wherever implementations are happening for the product. So there's always implementation support which has to be given out for SaaS, as well as you have to guide teams on how they are building the AI journeys for the customers. Then next 30% goes into discussing things with technical teams, or discussing it with my product team as well in terms of what new features we are bringing in, what research they have done, and then reviewing that and taking that forward. And rest of the time goes into recruitment, new sales, talking to new customers or new potential customers or leads, right? So evening calls with US or late evening calls with US, and then evening calls with European customers or leads happen as well. Right. So typically days mix of that. Some days there'll be more recruitment activities, some days there'll be more product activities. Some days if we are doing a critical deployment or a cutover for a customer, then that day would just go into sitting with DevOps and making sure that everything goes fine. Yeah. So a mix of things happening since like 9 in the morning till 9 in the night.
A busy journey. I mean, it's a small company, so a lot of the
Yeah.
work will be concentrated on you.
Yep. Plus we are completely remote company, so it's all work from home. And where
Yeah.
it is all work from home, you can sort of do integrated work life, right? Now,
Yes.
The
not
nine to
like I have to
five
be in
is
office by 9 and I leave out by 5. If I have something to do, nothing to do in afternoon because there are no calls at the time, I can take a couple of hours off,
Yeah.
sit with kids, and then come back and do that same couple of hours in the night,
Yeah.
right? Like, and because our CEO lives in US, so I have to sync up with her almost daily. So I have to sync up with her. That's going to be happening either her morning or my morning, or like her morning or her evening, right? Like, so either we'll be talking to her at like 7 a.m. my time, or I'll be talking to her at like 9 p.m. my time.
So
So
no day is the same, basically.
yeah, no days
Every
are
day is
same at
different.
all. It's different
that,
every day.
that's, that should be exciting in its own way, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what I like about working in startups as well, being in startups throughout. Once you go to more established companies, and I did three years in a bigger company called Sabre Airline Solutions as well, right? There the life becomes a little bit dreary.
Monotonic.
Yeah, I mean, you have a product, you're implementing it, and then that's it.
Yep.
It's more about office politics and getting visibility into the work than actually doing the work,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
So it doesn't really suit my style. I like startups more with a lot of chaos.
So yeah,
Yes.
I think so now Amita will take you through our rapid fire section.
So this is more of like a transition segment. So the next segment is going to be the main segment. So the rapid fire
Yeah.
segment is basically for the students to get to know a bit more on the personal side of the alum, shying away from the professional journey, which we will get later on to in the next segment. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and all of the answers have to be limited to 1 or 2 words max. If
Makes sense.
any question is given more time, I'm going to put you on the spot and I'm going to go to the next question.
Okay.
Okay. So
That's
are you
yeah.
ready?
Yep.
Yeah. So the first question is, What was the most impactful course or subject you studied either at BITS or beyond?
Beyond, I would say I am strategic management and
Okay,
competition.
okay. And then what's one tool or platform you absolutely can't live without in your current workflow? And you're not allowed to say ChatGPT if that was your answer.
No, Outlook and 365. Can't live without that.
Okay. Then if you weren't in tech or AI, what would you be doing instead?
Very difficult. My job from the campus was in a national AC
Mhm.
manufacturing company, so
Okay.
probably plant manager somewhere.
So you would be going towards the core side, basically. You would be going towards
I yeah,
engineering.
first job was in core.
Mhm.
Made a choice to put that and go into analytics instead. So if I
Okay.
didn't make that choice, then I would have been in growing in core itself.
Okay. If you had a time machine, what's one piece of career advice you would give your younger self in one or two words?
Actually study, like go to classes. Don't watch.
So you leveraged a lot of the 0% attendance policy we saw.
Yeah,
But
100%. I leverage it 100%. Go back and
um,
say,
I
don't do
think
yeah,
that.
I
yes,
think we're still doing the same thing.
Pardon?
we also don't attend most
I
of the
think
classes.
we're definitely doing the same thing.
We
Yeah,
barely attend one or
everybody
two
does.
hours a day.
Yeah.
A lot of your career, from your MBA at IIM Bangalore to your work with Emplay and Pangea Tech, has been rooted in Bangalore. What's one thing you
Yeah.
love about Bangalore's ecosystem?
Of Bangladesh ecosystem, whether people here,
Yeah.
weather is the first thing, then obviously a lot of people, you meet best of the best people in India, in
Yep.
IT and AI tech in Bangalore. And
Okay.
not just best in terms of talent which they bring in, but also best in terms of the behavior, the kind of people they are, soft spoken, people who are happy to explore, right?
Yep.
So you don't find that culture elsewhere. Like I'm from Delhi or NCR, and I don't
Yep.
really like going back here and working from there. You don't find that culture which Bangalore people bring in, or energy which they bring in.
Wow. How long have you been living in Bangalore?
Since I graduated since 2010,
Yeah. So from
Oh, I
2010
know.
till 20,
yeah,
till now you've been in
I,
Bangalore.
I'm settled there only now. Like don't plan to move off
A
back.
true Bangalorean, of course.
Where in
Um,
Bangalore?
yeah.
Multiple places. Now I live in Sarjapura Road,
Okay.
near out
Oh,
over Space.
Yeah.
But I've lived in Whitefield mostly before that, and then Greenland layout, Bellevue. So entire IT belt of India itself.
yeah.
Even I'm from Whitefield, but yeah, that's not relevant.
Nice.
The next question is, which skill has compounded the most in value for you over time?
Which what? I didn't
Which,
understand that.
what's the most valuable skill that you have developed during
Oh,
your experience?
programming. Learned it
Programming.
from school. Was able
Yep.
to sharpen it in college as well.
Yep.
Right, like was able to join a couple of clubs which were computer science focused clubs.
Yep.
But they didn't discriminate, so I was able to join that. Then
Yep.
was able to practice that in New Sigma and beyond. So yeah, programming has been one skill. And I'm basically writing algos, right? Like so if you can write algos or pseudocode, you can program in any language. I've
Yep.
had programming experience in C, Java, JavaScript, and now Python in between R and SAS as well, right? Like,
Yep.
but the algo is algo.
Okay. What is one favorite memory spot or nostalgic spot you have either at BITS Goa or in Goa in general?
Valido bar in Bits Goa. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, if it is still there or not. But that you have the Zeri village, and
Okay.
then
Uh,
in the bus stop there's a bar called Valido, or was a bar called Valido. And
Okay.
back in the day, it was a go-to spot for a
Okay.
lot of us to
After
hang
every
out.
exam.
Pardon?
After every exam,
Yeah,
you would go there.
yeah. I mean, yes, after every exam, plus second hangout spot would be like there was a vada pav
Hmm.
stall next to or right opposite to AH8. So we
Okay.
used to go there.
Gajalakshmi, basically.
that's Lakshmi.
Yes.
Yeah, Rajlakshmi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
So
there.
that came up in our third year. Uh, Before that, like you had a cafe in SSE, which
Hmm.
was run by the same mess guy.
Yep.
And the particular
Uh,
day's mess food was really bad. You would just go to the cafe and try to eat there.
Yeah. The next question is, now everyone is talking about AI, 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 and they're speaking it from a very face value point of view. So, like, what is one misconception about working in AI or product management that you wish more students understood before just hopping into the job?
Correct. So a lot of fresh graduates, they think AI is implementing Python,
Yep.
right? And that's not correct, right? Like, okay, while I agree with AI models right now, it's only about implementing it on Python using the frameworks, right? Like, so AI and LangChain. If you learn LangChain, you learn Python. You're not learning AI models, right? Like, so
Yep.
you need to at least understand how the statistics behind it works, what are embeddings, how do they work, what are vector spaces. If you don't understand that, then you're not able to fully leverage the potential which it brings as well when applying use cases, right? Like otherwise, you're just doing POCs
Yeah.
which are doable using Python because you did a course, right? If you want to
Mhm.
get into AI, then you have to start learning it from stats
Yep.
level, right? And if you don't not learning that, then you're not really doing anything else apart from being a Python engineer.
Yeah. So you're saying the math should come before the programming if you want to get into an AI/ML.
Yeah, and like it has become democratized now, right? Like you don't have to know the math by heart. You don't have to write any algorithm at all.
Yeah.
All packages exist,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean that you just use the package and you don't understand the math. If you don't understand the math, then the
There's no
output
point.
which you give out is never going to
Yeah.
be correct. And you won't know whether it's correct or not. Like I have so many people who come back to me and say, that, hey, I've written this code, the model works, output came. Okay, what's the output, right? Like it's forecasting 105%, man. The accuracy errors are off the chart, right? Like it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense the output which you're giving me, but there is an output. So if you are happy with that there is an output, then you are just a Python engineer, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to be a data scientist or an AI engineer, then you have to go beyond that and say that you are able to understand not just the data science aspect but also business,
Okay.
right? Like you can't come back in Music there was this team which basically predicted some huge percentage wins for a particular client
Yeah.
in a section, right? Like saying that your glasses segment of your sales is doing so well,
Yeah.
right? And the team went and presented that report internally as well. And then they got shot down. They're like, what are you talking about? Our glasses segment cannot be larger than our grocery segment. This was for retailer, right? So if you don't understand the business, this is kind of mistakes you do. You go
Yeah.
and tell a retailer that your 30% of your sales are coming from selling spectacles and not from groceries, right? 3%, we made an error, boss. We added
Yeah.
an extra. You have to understand the business, you have to understand data science,
Yeah.
and Python skills are like core skills. So if you just know Python, then you're a Python engineer. If you know data science, it's Python or data scientist. But if you also understand the business, then you become a full stack business
Yeah.
analyst. Not able to
Thank
do
you
all.
for that distinguishing between the two positions actually, because I still think that many students are like, we'll do Python and then we'll learn math along the way, and then we'll just figure it out
Yeah,
later.
correct. I mean that like today you don't need to learn like
Yeah.
how do the common algorithms work, but you still need to understand what that algorithm means, right? Like,
Yes.
वो linear regression लगा दिया. What are you gonna do with that linear regression if the data is not in a norm fitting the normal curve? Then you need to check that also, right? Like
Yes.
so, people do it in a mechanical way, saying that because I learned it in a course, I'm gonna apply it.
Hmm.
Don't really understand what's the meaning behind it. Like, why are you doing imputations? Why are you doing gap filling in the data? Should you remove the rows or not? Very, very basic things. And folks don't really go into depth of any of that to understand why this needs to be done. But
Yeah.
they know that sklearn has a module and we can get it done. So yes, it's a step which we need to go. And then you're a Python engineer, in my opinion, and not really a data scientist at all.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you for that answer, sir. So
Okay.
now we will be going to the main segment where we will be asking some a bit deeper questions in especially into the field that you're working.
So
And yeah, so I think Siddharth will begin with the first question.
So, so let's rewind a little bit. So you,
apologies for the
yeah, yeah,
light down. We'll just be back in a
yeah.
minute.
Yeah,
It's raining there, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
same.
the
It's
math got
raining
to me.
here.
So you graduated with a mechanical engineering degree, and then you went into Mu Sigma, diving into
Yeah,
analytics. So
correct.
they're not exactly like they don't go, but they're not exactly the same thing. So what was going through? What's your thought process back then? Did you know you were going to change out of mechanical engineering? What drove this decision of yours?
Okay. So yeah, I'd always thought of switching out of mechanical engineering. Initial thought was that hey, I'll be a mechanical engineer, get 10 GPA, shift to computer science because BITS allows lateral movement, And then obviously all the dreams crashed too, thanks to AOE and CS. Right. So you start playing AOE, then start playing CS, and then get into Dota. Then you're not going to classes, and then you're not getting 10 GPA to change. Right. So that didn't happen. But uh, like I said, out of college, I got job in National AC. Right. And then they said that, hey, we're gonna pay you like 3.5 lakhs, and then I had to come and live in Bombay. I was like, dude, Bombay for 3.5 lakhs. Like, what am I gonna save? What am I gonna do? And the job is on a plant. So they have a manufacturing and assembly plant over there outside of Bombay, and you basically have to supervise. So you're a line supervisor on the plant. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, there's no way I'm gonna do this kind of survive in this kind of job. That I'm a line supervisor. Is there actually any use of mechanical engineering over there? Not a lot, right? And then, plus, I didn't know enough mechanical as well because I didn't obviously attend a lot of classes. So then I got a job in the Cognizant, and that was this programming job. They do 6 month training. So I like, okay, let's go that take that training up. They teach Java. I already knew Java very well, so training was a breeze. By the time I finished my training, a job offer opened up in Yosimba, and I always wanted to join Yosimba. Right? They came to campus as well. I sat for some of the rounds. Then they said that the final round was going to happen in Bangalore, and I had to go to Bangalore to give the final interview. But I couldn't go there at that time. Some it clashed with one of my exams for the electives in Porto. So so I thought, why not capitalize on the opportunity, get into Musimba? And a lot of my friends are already there in Musimba from my batch, right? Plus, very cool new field at that point of time, analytics. And they were not discriminating between, oh, you're a CS guy, I'm going to pay you more. But if you're a mechanical engineer, I'm going to pay you less. Like Cognizant used to do that, Infosys used to do that. So once you get into that, you suddenly realize that it doesn't really matter what degree background you came from. If you're doing analytics the way they did analytics, right, and popularized it as well. It was mostly business analytics. You have to understand business, you have to understand data science, you have to understand basics of programming so that you could do things in Excel or and we used SPSS and SATs at that point of time, right? So it basically sort of cleaned away the slate for you, right? Like it didn't matter if you're chemical, mechanical, which college, which not college. Once you enter Sigma, you're all the same, right? You go through that coursework, then you get onto the floor, you are able to work with people coming from diverse backgrounds, right? Like my team had an NIT guy, another guy from IIT was my team lead. And suddenly they put a lot of responsibilities also on top of you, which was really, really great, right? Like 2 years out of the college, you're supposed, or like when I joined that team, 6 months into that team, I was giving KT to the guy sitting in US who was actually a PhD in statistics, and I'm telling him about the OR model which my team has written and giving him KT on that. Right? It's like wow. so it felt right. This is something which I was supposed to do because it combines a lot of things which I like, right? And then continue down that path is how it happened.
Thank you, sir.
I think
for that.
that's a very interesting take. I definitely didn't expect like for them to any company to sort of ask like dump so much responsibility on a person so soon to be giving KTs and etc. So that's a very useful insight, I think, for a lot of us.
Yeah.
The next question that I have for you is that you mentioned that as a first year student that you wanted to make a transition from mechanical engineering into software by trying and bagging that 10 CGPA in your first year,
Yeah.
which even we current students also have in trying to make that vertical shift. So the question that I have is now, uh, given that BITS has a very good entrepreneurial ecosystem, do you feel that you know your your batch was very helpful in helping you get a job, and were you surrounded by like-minded individuals at the time who were also interested in the same field as you? And what were some things that happened inside the college that really made you feel like BITS is the right place that I've come to, and no other engineering college could have made me feel the same way?
So it's like it's a great place to be at. Not sure whether it's compared to others what will happen, but like obviously I think in hindsight people have similar experiences coming out of similar colleges, right? Like if you compare it to other IITs and ITs, people have had similar experiences. So uh, obviously, the quality of the batch really matters. The kind of people you surround yourself with, and a college like BITS, where everything is 100% merit, it's even better,
Yeah.
right? Everybody reached there because they cracked an entrance exam, and they were all toppers in their college, in their schools, right? So uh, that basically ups the bar a lot in terms of how you need to perform, right? That was sort of a shock to me as well. That okay, suddenly you have to put a lot of effort to get ahead, right? Before that in school, a lot of effort wasn't required to actually get ahead. So you don't get into that habit of putting in actual hours which are required in a college like this to actually score CGPA. I think that was one of the follies which I had, and that is one of the advice I would want to go back and give myself younger self. Actually apply yourself. Don't just trust that because you did well in school, you would be able to do well in bits also. Right?
Yeah.
Like doesn't translate. Right. But that also lets you build very good friendships. You're able to see that where people have you're able to learn from people as well. Right? Like before going to bits, I had never heard about what stock trading is. And then
Yes.
suddenly I meet this guy who in first year also was very trusted in stocks and knew about candle charts. And then I was able to learn it from him, right? And then you get an exposure to a lot of people coming from different states and backgrounds also, which becomes very important because at least till 2006, there was little exposure in terms of travel, which I had, right? Like you're living in one particular area, you're always surrounded by those kind of people, and suddenly you meet different people as well who are coming from different big cities.
Yeah.
So that helps a lot in terms of getting a perspective and the right perspective, which is required to sort of mold your personality into a different person as well, right? Like it helps you grow and understand what exactly you want to achieve, what exactly is the correct thing to do,
Yeah.
how to think correctly, right? And I think that is something which gets missed if you go to sort of regional colleges where you would say that, hey, a college in North India where a lot of North Indians only join. You will never get that perspective which you would get in a college like this, where people from
Yeah.
all walks of life and all places all over the India would be coming in.
Yeah.
And one key difference which I noticed listening to college stories from people from IITs and NITs as compared to BITS was the issues they had with infra
Mhm.
were immense,
Yeah.
right? We were a pampered lot, right? I mean, and we thought we had it hard. And
Yeah.
then I hear of stories from people from NITs and IITs. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
we had it really good. I mean, obviously there are better colleges. My wife is from JP, Noida, right? And she had AC
Yeah.
hostels. So she had better infra than I had, right? But
I
just me
think the
having
lack
just
of
having a
AC.
single room itself, a,
Yeah.
a room where you are the only person staying, is such a big deal compared to folks coming in from NITs and saying they were like four in a room and room
Yeah.
used to leak.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, oh my God. I mean, you didn't have LAN, you didn't have DC. What are you talking about? What kind of quality of life did you guys actually have? Right? And like that, okay. That I think last aspect about being in Goa is that you are also in Goa. I actually went to BITS Pilani first.
Mhm.
And I mean, obviously I saw Pilani and then I was like, I don't want to live here. And there was an upgrade scheme going on, and while like instead of freezing my options, I said I'm gonna move to Goa. There is no way I can live in Pilani. Back in 2006, Pilani had nothing. Like outside the college campus, there was just nothing. And like how there's no point being in
Yeah.
a place like that, right? And I'm so close to home that parents are like, hey, on a weekend, why don't you just catch a bus and come back to Delhi? I'm like,
Yeah.
no. Why am I going to a college if I have to catch a bus and come
Yeah.
back to
Come back
Delhi?
home.
And like, if you want me to come back every other weekend, then I was getting admission into DCE. Why did you put me there?
Yeah.
Right? I just said that I am getting into DCE. I'm not going to travel by bus and all. Right? Buy me a bike and I'll just
Yeah.
do up down from Noida to DC. They're like, no. So what's the next option? I go to BITS. Okay. Now we reach BITS and they're like, every other weekend you can come back with a bus. I'm like, what? I'm happy to live at home and travel by bike. You didn't want that. So I don't want the bus option. And then obviously Goa sounded a lot better than Pilani to live in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's go to Goa. And yeah, best decision. I think best part of BITS Pilani Goa campus is that it's in Goa
Yeah.
and nowhere else.
Well, we also feel the same way, sir, as to why we took this campus. I did not want to go. I'm been in Bangalore pretty much since I was born, so I had no interest in traveling the entire length of the country, and like it's just too far. So
Correct,
the
correct. It's good, dude. Like after
different
once you're
people,
done, weekend comes along, you have the Sunday, you can do something about that Sunday, right? Like if you're in Pilani campus, what are you gonna do with that Sunday? Get out of the campus and go to
we will try not to
go see one sand
disrespect
dune and
other
another sand dune.
campuses.
Yeah, one jalebi shop, that's it. Right? And
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
else
yeah,
out
totally.
of it. So
Yeah. Okay, I think Ram will be the next question.
Yeah. So one part, like while going through, for example, like your LinkedIn profile, one part of the journey that really caught my attention was Pangea Tech,
hmm,
especially how quickly you scale it up and the kind of impact it had. We'd love to explore that a bit more.
sure.
But while you're also doing that, can you also give us a brief overview of what Pangea Tech did and what kind of problems you were solving over there?
Okay. So a couple of my colleagues and I, we decided to start Pangea Tech. Our idea was to start working towards an explainable AI product, which basically used sharp models to explain what neural networks can do. Right. So a platform where you can come and train neural networks for any use case, and then you are able to use sharp models to essentially show the inner working of the neural networks and hence make them explainable, because neural networks you can't explain, right? Like there is no statistical formula which comes out of a neural network, and that causes them to be not used by banking and insurance industries and a lot more industries in US, because regulators demand you explain the decision taken by the AI model. Hence, decision trees and random forests are the epitome of what they will use, because you can explain what's happening inside a decision tree, but you can't explain why a neural network rejected alone, right? So, with shape value models, you can predict or at least estimate, not predict, predict is not right word. You can estimate what a neural network is trying to do by fitting the result model using sharp values, and then come back and say that, hey, if this got rejected, this is the reason why it got rejected, right? That was the core idea which we had. And then we were very unfortunate to start it in February 2020 when COVID hit a month later. So our initial thought process was to use a couple of our connections in US to get some services business so that we could fund our product development. And that services business side obviously dried up once COVID lockdowns happened in US and happened here, right? Like the consultants we were working with there, they had further clients which also stopped business. So 2020 was a washout for us. 2021 we sort of restarted our thing, but at least till I was there, which was till 2023 end. So 21, 2023, 3 years. Uh, we couldn't really get the product off the ground. We were basically expanding upon our services offering a lot more, and we are trying to standardize that service offering itself to convert it into a product. But till end of 2023, we were not able to get our product off the ground. At which point of time, primarily, I parted ways because the co-founder and I, we were not in agreement on a lot of things, the way we were doing it, right? And unfortunately, he had better control of the board with another small co-founder siding with him. So I said, okay, enough is enough. Like, I don't know, have you seen that series called The Good Place, TV series?
No, I think
No?
I've heard of it.
You have heard of it? Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to spoil it a little for you guys. If you've not seen it so far, then it's not my fault. Right? So, people die, go to the heaven, and then they feel there's something wrong because they, like, main characters find out that they have by mistake been put into heaven, and they want to basically just not reveal that, so that because if they do, they will be sent back to hell. And by end of the first season, those guys are very much tormented by this fact, and then they suddenly realize this is the hell, and which turns out to be actually true. So they were always in hell, and demons were tormenting them by telling them that this is heaven, and you have come here by mistake and letting them trying to torment themselves, right? So by the end of 2023, because of all the fungus which I had with my co-founders, it sort of felt like that. Yeah, I mean, this is not a good place which I basically dreamt it to be. Right? It has become the bad place for me now. So we decided let's part ways. I mean, I still own equity and all in the company, but I stepped away from the operations side so that life is more streamlined. So now, what we were trying to solve over there, we were trying to solve explainable AI. Like I said, we built a decent enough platform, but I think we got a little late in going getting to market. on that platform, primarily because this is a problem which other people have also solved. Right, like we met Visa and those guys had an internal platform which was doing the exact same thing. Right, when we met Mastercard, exact same thing. We met a couple of insurance companies. They had also internal platforms where they had explored Shapewear values and how to use them to explain AI. Right, so turns out it was a little bit of beaten problem. Towards in 2021, 2023 starting, we also picked up on Gen AI based product development and what exactly kind of wrapper work which we could do. But like Gen AI में SaaS has moved very fast,
Mhm.
uh, right? And if you are slow in development, then by the time you have done a prototype, others have already launched,
Yeah.
right? And the cycle keeps on going. So if you're not fast on development, you get delayed. Secondly, you need to have the right connects to do sales as well because it's all B2B sales, unless you're saying I'm do B2C sales, which is right. So we realized that we were lagging behind on that. I guess that also brewed up some problems within all three of us. But in the end, we said, okay, this is something which I want to explore, but talk you, right? And we have differing ideas on it. So I would rather explore it at someplace else. And then
Yeah.
obviously I found Emplay and Sanchita, who's my CEO here, or co-founder, right? And then her and my ideas match up a lot more on how we see Gen AI evolving further. So it was a better fit, and hence I parted ways with Pangea. They still exist and they are continuing to flourish. They have grown a little bit as well after initial little bit of setback that they had after I left. Uh, but though I'm not sure what they are working on now, they've named many products on the website, but I've never seen any.
Yeah.
Right, clean breaks are best, is how I feel. Yeah.
Well,
So unfortunately, I couldn't give you a better answer than this. You were not actually doing any better thing than that, right? But yeah, it was an
so-
attempt.
but during
Uh,
your tenure, it was doing well. Pangea Tech was doing well to an
I
extent.
mean, as a company, they are doing okay now as well. I mean, when I left, there were 50 people. They are also now 50 people. So
Fair.
not gone down or up, I
Yep.
would say. Right. But yeah, while I was there, we were doing more services than we were doing product. Is what. But I learned a lot about how to get products done. I was more of a technical guy there. Learned the ropes of being technical guy more than only being a data scientist. So when you're a data scientist, you do small projects, right? And then suddenly, if you want to build enterprise grade software, that is a different ball game than being a data scientist and building a Python code or a model on a data, right? So while I can write and code which will handle multiple GBs worth of data, train really, really large models, how do you make that enterprise grade so that 50 concurrent users can use it is a different game altogether, which I never knew anything about, right? Like, so 2020 is the first time I started learning web development and how to exactly put a front end on top of this and not just use Streamlit to throw together something and then say that, hey, this is my app, right? Like, okay, you put Streamlit together, that's an MVP. That's even a POC, not even an MVP, right? But if you really want to do an MVP which people can use, then you have to put it on Next.js, right? And then that simply means you have to learn Next.js. You have to learn how to do async programming. You have to learn how to set up on cloud platforms and fast enough so that you are able to get something to the market, right?
Yeah.
So all of that learning was really, really great because you have to explore it yourself and then make it happen. Just give me a
Well,
second. Now I'll get my charger. I think I'm running low on
yes.
battery.
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I have to change locations to sit near the plug point.
Okay. Um, well, thank you so much, sir, for answering such deep questions. And this is going to be the last question
Sure.
for this particular segment before we wrap it up. And
Yeah.
so now you are part of the 2006 batch, and during your time, I'm pretty sure that there was no such concept of alum network to guide students. So I now you being an alum to the college and with a lot of experience, what would be a very fundamental piece of advice that you would give to a fellow Bitsian who is trying to go on the exactly the same roadmap as you did in college?
Exactly the same role as in data science.
Well, here and there is a bit, it's a bit okay, but a fellow Bitsian who wants to end up in a in similar position as you.
Correct. See, this uncle of mine, he was a professor at BITS Pilani, right? And then his idea was that BITS doesn't train engineers, they train technocrats,
Yeah.
right? So BITS engineers need not work in the core branches they are in. You're not defined by the branch which you took over there. That's why there's freedom to not attend classes. That's why there is freedom to move roles, and obviously you have to put a bar on it by CGPA so that otherwise everybody would just move to one course and other courses will not have people in it, right? But nobody still stops you from sitting in a lecture for computer science course if you're interested in coding.
Yeah.
If you're interested in mechanical engineering or physics or math, nobody stops you from meeting those professors, attending their lectures. You can do that, right? That's the flexibility which they provide, right? You don't have to attend the course which you have signed up for, and you need to capitalize on it, right? So do what interests you out after the college instead of getting typecasted into that. Oh, because I'm the kind of engineer and it's the role which I got from campus, that's what I'm gonna get stuck at. One of my batchmates, and I think you should interview him. He had a brilliant career. His name is.
Sorry, sir,
Can you guys
you
hear me?
bumped a bit. Yeah. Yes, and now we can
Yes.
listen and hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna hotspot my phone. I left behind. So, current guy code that he was a mechanical engineer with me. He joined Hale, right, and was a quality engineer, assurance engineer over there in PHEL. So his daily job was take the calipers and measure the size of the pieces which were being produced on the line, right? Randomly pick them up, select, and oversee the team which would do that as well for him. But then he got fed up, went to Mica, did MBA from there because he always dreamt of designing games. Even when he was in college and mechanical engineer, he was a gaming nut. Not in the sense of playing CS and AOE, right? Like those guys are nuts. This guy was, he would play Devil May Cry, he would play different games, right? And then he would dream of making games like you are standing on top of a tower and then you have to throw a coin down and try to hit people who are going away from there. And like if it hits on their head, then you would get some money and then you can use that money to get more coins and then try to hit those people as well. And he actually ended up making a game like that, right? So then he became a game manager,
Wow.
started designing games, and is doing really great as a game designer, right? So if you have a passion for certain thing, BITS allows you the freedom to explore that passion, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. One of your seniors, like 2, 3, 4 years senior, maybe that guy has a YouTube channel, right? Which he teaches on, and I saw a podcast from him where he was talking about the same thing and said that the flexibility to not attend classes gives him the enough time to create videos online, and
Think talking about
then
Dhruv by
take it forward from there,
think
right?
Dhruv.
I don't remember the name of the guy at all, but so it gives immense flexibility of things which you want to do, right? One of my juniors, he's an event manager and opened an event management company of his own, right? One of my batchmates he was a core guy, never went to classes, CGPA was shit, but still ended up opening a company which makes specialized packaging machines, right? So specialized packaging machines which have accuracy rates of 99.99%. That if you want 100 candies in a box and that box wrapped and all, then it will have 100 candies, right? Like 1 out of 1 million boxes will have 101 or 99 candies, right? So that kind of work he started doing. And then obviously a lot of people went to MBA, went into sales and whatnot kind of roles. A very good friend of mine is selling large loans to customers now instead of being an E&I engineer, and he was a 9 pointer, right? So 9 pointer ENI engineer went to do MBA after that, and then is now selling 1,000 crore loans on behalf of ICICI, right? So the trajectory which you want to take, you can take that, and the college allows for it, and seniors support it, alumni support it. You get the right guidance if you ask for it, right? And you don't get that anywhere else, right? The kind of flexibility. I mean, obviously, if you're an ITN, you can get out of the college and do whatever you want. No, nobody's stopping it from you. But in BITS, you can do that while in college. This is the best part.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So capitalize on that is the guidance.
So thank you so much, sir. That brings us to the end of the podcast. We really want to thank you for taking out the time today. It's been a very, very insightful conversation. I think Amitav and I have learned a lot.
Yes.
And I'm sure everyone listening will also they'll have a lot. They'll also gain a lot of insight. And yes, thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Awesome. Thanks, Avtar. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye, sir.